Okay, thank you for tuning in. So it is the 10th of June 2024. So this is this afternoon's live session. So it is 1:30 p.m. Just going to turn my phone down. It's 1:30 p.m. currently. So starting on the dollar index, I do hope that you can see my screen because it is a wider screen that I'm working on. Okay, just thought I'd test this screen out. So starting on the dollar index, we can see that on the daily time frame. So just to recap, this was the area which I was speaking about last week. Okay, a couple of weeks ago as well. Price has come back into there and moved away quite nicely. On the 4-hour time frame, what we've now done is technically broken structure to the upside on the 4-hour time frame. So this was the structure coming down, okay, to this discount. So high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Prices now broke to the upside. We've had a closure above that high right there. Okay, we've had a closure above that high on the 4-hour time frame. So that would technically be the new leg from a bullish standpoint. All right, so going back to the daily time frame, we do have if I just zoom right in here, we do have this bearish candle before the bullish move right there. Price could want to revisit that if it did want to carry on going bullish. Okay, if it did want to carry on going bullish. So that's pretty much it for the DXY in terms of bias. Just reading structure there, because we've got that structure going up on the daily in terms of these blue dots right here. So the low, the high, higher low, higher high. Prices come down into a discount, achieved that daily demand area right there, and prices moved away from that. So whether or not it actually closes above here on the daily time frame could be quite important, to be honest. So obviously currently we are still open on this daily candle. It could just wick this high here to then continue to the downside. It could easily do that because we do have these imbalances still available below these lows right here. But I do like the fact that if we remember what I was speaking about, we wicked the previous monthly low right there. So that's a form of liquidity that's been taken already. So this is, a reason for the market to continue to the upside. Okay, or at least one reason, as we've outlined. We've got this bullish structure right here. Okay, or at least it broke bullish once. We've then come into a pullback, into a discount, and then price has continued to sort of ripple to the upside. You've got the low, the high, higher low, higher high. So again, once price came into here, we've got reason to take that out. So we'll have to see with that one. We've also got this weekly imbalance to the downside as well, which is still available for price to basically want to be magnetized into that. It could well do that next, actually. But that's the DXY. So let's move on to euro dollar. Okay, so euro dollar. So on the weekly time frame, you can see I've got some drawings on here. Got into the daily, just to update this right now together. Okay, so coming out of this monthly imbalance, don't forget, that was also coming out of this yearly imbalance as well. So the momentum is definitely to the upside. And previously, on a previous analysis, I was talking about the fact that we hadn't closed above this high, but we have now done that. So price is closed above that high right there. So now what? This now becomes a bullish leg to the upside from the low to the high right there. Okay, so if we bring the Fibonacci tool, so from the low to the high, we've achieved discount prices. Okay, very clearly. And on the daily time frame, there was actually a daily imbalance resting on the 50% of this Fibonacci right there. So very, very small imbalance. If we just zoom in, we can see that together. Really, really small right there, look. But it's still valid because it still is there. So daily imbalance. And then if we go down one more time frame to the 4 hour, price provided a 4 hour imbalance as well. Okay, so very, very nice price action right there. 4 hour imbalance, this one right here. Okay, so structurally speaking, from the higher time frame all the way down into the daily, let's say, we know that price has reason to continue to the upside. Where's the target going to be? Well, if this structure is going to continue and, you know, is going to remain truthful, so to speak, then this high could be vulnerable at least, and then these highs, and then potentially even this high right here. Okay, and even following from that, if we are going to continue bullish, then obviously this high is going to be vulnerable, and ultimately all the way up here on the 12-month. Okay, obviously from a longer term perspective, because remember what we spoke about before, the amount of years it took to drag price back down versus the years it took price to basically send it to the upside. Obviously you can see in the pullback phases it takes a lot more time, okay, versus the uproars, okay, the bullish momentum, it takes 3 years. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we have years of consolidation. So overall, long term, definitely price is bullish. We know that for sure. You've got trend line liquidity there as well. Very, very easy to spot. So that's euro dollar. Let's look at GJ. Okay, so the nice thing about this big screen is it allows you to look at price all on the same chart without zooming out too much. So you've got the monthly imbalance right there as well. You've got monthly supply, which I do believe can be reached into. That comes in at the price of sort of 207, 208. Okay. So that can be reached. That can be reached. We obviously took out that high there as well. And the important thing as well is what we've done with that high is closed above that on a monthly time frame. So the momentum is still to the upside. Still to the upside. On the weekly, obviously we are still within this weekly imbalance that was pulled across from the monthly. Got the weekly. But what we've also done is retested this bullish weekly imbalance last week, which are, you know, one of the reasons why I do think price can continue to crawl a bit higher. However long that will take, who knows? But I do think we've still got momentum to the upside, although we are very, very sort of stretched out to the upside. On the daily, we also had a daily imbalance. We spoke about this last week. That daily imbalance provided right there very, very nicely within that weekly. So prices came and respected that very well. As price came off of this daily, if we go to the 4 hour time frame, price created another imbalance on the 4 hour. Respected very nicely. And the current 4 hour candle right now is obviously looking like it's retested the low, made that wick to the downside. And then we are potentially going to continue higher. Okay, so we are still within a buy position from down here, and our TP is around these highs somewhere. Okay, so we still are within that. That is now risk free. Okay, we've took a couple of losses within here, a few losses, but I'm going to remain sticking to the system. I have gathered more data on this system that I'm trading on GJ, which I will share with you in just a moment. But on the 1 hour time frame currently, you can see that we are continuing bullish by the looks of things. And if we close where we are closing right now, or sort of where we are trading right now on the 1 hour time frame, then I will be looking at this 1 hour imbalance to potentially get an entry to go long once more. All right, so that would be the ideal scenario, because if we can get in another position, that would then double our profits, because we're already in a buy position, as I've just said. So if we can get in another one with a decent size stop loss, to target another 1 to 3, we're going to be looking at 6% gain if we hit both TPs on that. Okay, so let's look at the data that I'm talking about right now on this system. Okay, yeah, one other thing that I want to talk about as well, if I just go back to this chart, is this 1 hour imbalance right here. So on this chart, I've already got it marked out. So this 1 hour imbalance, I am going to be monitoring price if and when we reach there on the lower time frame. Why? Because that is a 1 hour area, and this system is very black and white. Has it reached the 1 hour area? Yes or no? If it has, then look down to the lower time frames to find an entry. So if we do form an entry model at this area, I am going to go short. Much like if we form an entry model at this bullish area, I'm going to go long. Okay. So this is the data that I've gathered. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Just a second, guys. There you go. Okay. So just an update. So I believe last time we spoke about this, I was mid 2022. So you can see here, very consistent months throughout 2022. You've got 7%, 7%, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 13, 14, 16, 4, 4, giving us 114% gain in 2022. I'm currently going through 2021 right now. So December, 5% gain, then 1% gain, then 10% gain, then -2%, then -4%. So these 2 months actually are the first negative months that this system has seen since I've started to gather data from obviously current date. So May 2024. These are the only 2 that have been negative so far. So not too bad, put it that way, not too bad. So yeah, sticking with it. I've got a lot of faith in this, and I'm now live on this, as I've mentioned many times. And I don't just mean live as in sending trades into the Discord. I mean live with my own capital. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. So thank you for watching. Actually, before we end this, let's just talk about silver, because there was something that I wanted to talk about on silver. Okay, so on silver, we've now reached this daily imbalance. So if you remember from last week, what we were talking about is the fact that price likes these imbalances. All right, so we've got one down here, which it could actually be magnetized into still, right? Weekly imbalance, but we're also currently within this weekly imbalance. So, currently speaking, we've got to sort of trade with what we can see. So if we can go into the daily time frame, we can see this daily imbalance here as well. Very nicely, price has come into that. So because this is a daily imbalance, what we want to see is a 30-minute shift of structure as we come into this. So this is the imbalance here, this darker purple one. So price has come in, and then it's sort of formed that right there, which, let's move that out of the way. That would have been the entry right there. Unsociable hours to get an entry. But that would have been the entry right there, believe it or not, on a Sunday evening. Okay, so you've got 17 pips there, 17.5. So that says 1,751 pips. That translates to 17.5 pips. Okay, so we want to add 10 pips. So we can round it up, 18, and then 28 pips we want. So 2,800 pips, not pips, points, however this translates to. Like I say, that translates to 28 pips right there. So that would be the entry, and then the TP would be looking at, let's just go to the daily a moment. Okay, nothing on there. 4 hour, you could even target that 4 hour imbalance right there. But because I'm bullish with this overall, We could even target that high right there. Okay. Or you could play it a bit more cautious, like there was a trade there that would have been break even. Okay, so this is a sort of a methodology in which I'm forward testing. Again, I've mentioned that many times on the lives. With silver in particular, it does work on other things as well. Gold, look at that reaction out of there. So our analysis was correct on that. Look at that. So this was a position that I marked on. Again, something on forward testing right now. We had the 4-hour imbalance there. Then we had a 15-minute break, and that would have been the entry, giving us a 7-to-1. I said that we could target this daily imbalance. Price has done that very, very nicely. Why? Because on the 4-hour time frame, we broke structure, bearish structure right there. So we closed below that last structure point. That was the higher low. Price made the higher high, came down, made that lower low. So price broke structure. Price made that low there. The reason why that is the low is because price hadn't come into a premium before making another low. So that is the low right there. So what we can do now is update the structure point. So that now is the new bearish leg on a 4-hour perspective. So that's now the high. And wherever the low decides to print is the low. Okay. So quite interesting actually, because I was a bit suspicious of the fact of this weekly price action, as we've obviously come into highest highs of all time, uncharted territory. Original wick to the upside, that's all well and good. Price came down to the weekly imbalance. Had another surge to the upside, but paying attention to the weekly candle closure and the wicks, we just wicked that high. We didn't get a closure above. And then, like I said before, we closed below that 4-hour low, which then indicated the 4-hour was going to go bearish, in which it did. So we had the daily imbalance right there. Just there, look. Daily imbalance. Look at that daily candle. So that would have been Friday, I believe. Yeah. So Friday's candle. Huge bearish momentum. Okay. So if this is to continue to the downside, like I said, this is now the new leg. The new 4-hour bearish leg from the high down into the low. So we've obviously got that imbalance right there, which we can just pick off. There's nothing on the daily, because on the daily time frame it's just one big candle, as we've just seen together. 4-hour imbalance. 1 hour, you've got a 1-hour imbalance in there as well. So if and when price decides to come back into there, could be an opportunity to go short. On the weekly time frame though, sort of aligning with that bearishness, so to speak, we've had a weekly candle close below that. So that's very, very important in my eyes. We've closed below that. I guess you could call it a structure point, whatever you want to call that. Because that to me it's not necessarily a weekly support, but it's a valid area in which price can find support at, but price is just closed below it. So those two bodies there. Okay. And I do like to use the bodies of the candles quite often, as I'm sure you guys are aware of. So that's pretty much it. We'll go over a few more pairs in the second live session today at 3:30 p.m. But other than that, that pretty much rounds this up. Like I've just said on GJ, so just to recap, what I'm looking for on GJ is the 1 hour to provide us another 1 hour imbalance, which is looking like it will do in 10 minutes time. Yeah, 10 minutes right there. So I can draw that on and essentially just wait for a break of market structure if and when we do retest that, which hopefully we do, because like I said, if we can get in another buy position and we essentially reach these highs, there's our TP on that one, by the way, all the way up here. So we've got 201 excuse me, 007. All right, so we're currently in that still. if we can get another one in there, we can get a 6% gain. That would be very nice, because that would eat up the losses that this system has took so far this month. But again, it is only the second week of the month. Still plenty of time to grab that back and obviously gain profit on top. So that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching once more, and I will see you in the next live. So thanks guys, take care.